throughout my entire time playing World of Warcraft, I've played basically nothing but warrior in both retail and in classic. Charging into your enemies and yelling directly into their face is awesome. Of course, I've explored other classes as well, like recently I leveled a mage, and yeah, it was fun exploring all the different farms and stuff, but it's just not really me. And even more recently, I started playing a druid, and I can't lie, it's some of the most fun I've ever had in WoW. The idea of being able to transform into a bear or a cat and just claw your enemies until they bleed to death is about as cool as you can get, and I might honestly consider changing my main character. Last time we had only just unlocked cat form, allowing me to claw away as a DPS. It would also allow us to run 30% faster than anyone else my level. However, at level 30, we are able to unlock travel form, which would make us run 40% faster, which is just crazy fast for questing. So that is the goal for today. Reach level 30 and unlock travel form. Starting the day off, we were on a bird, making our way over to Duskwood to continue questing where we finished last time. And I said it before, but I am going to say it again. The first time around on my warrior, I hated Duskwood because I've never really been a fan of the whole dark and spooky aesthetic. But this time, for whatever reason, I'm actually really excited to quest here. I was making my way to the northwest of the zone to pick up some quests that were more my level, and decided to quickly collect the 10 ghoul fangs for another quest, and also pick up another from some bloke in a shack. I then got started killing a ton of wolves. For whatever reason, killing wolves is always the best type of quest. Cat superiority. Along our journey, I also at some point hit level 25, which means we obviously get another talent point, and my stupid ass clicked the wrong talent, which means I've now got to pay to reset my talents. Fantastic. But no matter, I then had to murder 15 skeletal fiends, which was slightly annoying, but we got it done anyway. I then headed south to complete another quest where we have to kill 6 Nightbane Shadow Weavers, which was actually not meant for my level, but we managed to do it anyway. I then got started collecting 6 gooey spider legs, yummy, as well as also doing the next part of the Nightbane quests, killing 12 Nightbane Dark Runners, which again wasn't really meant for my level, so using Prowl, I weaved in amongst the mobs and targeted these specific mobs that were lower. Another thing that I absolutely love about this class. I then needed 8 Rot Blossom, so even more skeleton killing. I then teamed up with a couple of randoms to do the quest The Night Watch, making us kill 20 Plague Spreaders. We got that done nice and easily. Now the next quest, I needed to collect a crate that was surrounded by mobs that were 4 and 5 levels higher than me. So once again, I used Prowl to avoid basically all of them and strategically pulled the one closest to the quest item. And granted, it was pretty tough, but we did kill it and were able to retrieve the item. Now apart from 1 or 2 quests, we were now completely done with Duskwood, and I would say it was worth it, since we were now all the way up to level 26 and a half. And that's also where I decided to take a break for a while. Logging on the next day, prepared and ready for a productive day of leveling, I had a couple of options for gaining XP. Firstly, I could go to the Wetlands and continue questing, or I could hang about and try to get a group together for the Stockades. So I quickly grabbed all the Stockades quests, and instead of putting together my own group, I was just going to list myself on the LFG tool, and then go and quest in the Wetlands whilst I waited. Efficiency. Once I arrived in Menethil Harbour, I did what any normal person would do and accepted any quest in sight. First up was some good old-fashioned Murloc killing, and luckily these ones were green for me, so we were able to get it done pretty quickly. And not even 10 minutes later, we got an invite to a Stockades group, so I began to hearth back to Stormwind. Once we were all here, we got stuck straight into it. And I mean, let's be honest, it's Stockades, there really isn't much to talk about. It's 15 minutes of killing 90 mobs that look exactly largely the same. At least when I did this on my warrior, it was my first time exploring what little there is to explore in here. But since then, I've done quite a lot of boosting in here when I need some extra pocket money. So I ended up doing 2 runs with this same group, which allowed us to complete every single quest and got us to level 27. Afterwards, I obviously went and turned in all of the quests, which gave me another nice big chunk of experience points. And after that, I headed back to the Wetlands to continue questing. Now, unfortunately, the next couple of hours were lost due to an encoding error, but basically, we did some quests in the Wetlands and got to level 28. That's it. So I started to finish off what little quests I had left to do, like killing crocodiles for their skin. I then had to do what was probably one of the most annoying quests I've ever done, called the Cursed Crew. We had to go into a sunken ship and kill 5 cursed marines and 13 cursed sailors. Now, the issue I had with this quest is that all the mobs were bunched together, so I could never pull just one at a time. It was also in such a small area, so I could never really see my character or what was going on around me. And of course, it was underwater, so I couldn't really move and also had to make sure that I didn't drown. But after a solid 25 minutes, we got it done, and at least we didn't have to go back again. Oh wait, yes we do. At least this time it wasn't as bad, since it was only kill a single mob who wasn't even underwater. And that was it. We were finished with the Wetlands, and we're now level 29, which means we've only got 1 more level to go until we could unlock travel form. So I decided to go for another dungeon, Blackfathom Depths. So I hopped on a bird and started making my way there. Well, an hour of standing outside of the dungeon, and I did actually manage to find a group to do it with, which was followed by another hour of waiting for everyone to arrive. Starting to think that this might not have been worth it. Eventually, we do get started with clearing the trash and making our way over the cool little parkour thing. We then make it to the first boss, Gamu Ra, Turtle Guy, and we get him down no bother, even though we did have a couple of extra turtles up our asses. We then swim under the little archway and take on Lady Saraves, who can drop the only piece of worthy loot in the dungeon, called the Naga Battle Gloves. By no means are they even remotely good, but they would still be an upgrade over my current gloves. But if you've watched any of my previous videos, then you will know just how bad my loot luck is. We then quickly grab the manuscript for the quest before swimming under yet another little arch thingy to pay a visit to Thaelred to pick up his quest, which I think is a nice little touch to the dungeon. We once again continue on our journey through the dungeon until we eventually get to the room of the next boss. Unfortunately though, some pretty wild pulling resulted in us wiping. Goodbye world buff, you will be missed. But we respawn and kill the boss, and then we take this orb thingy, which provides a small buff. Kinda cool, I suppose. We then take a detour to kill what was apparently a rare mob that I had no idea about, who dropped some absolutely crazy loot. We eventually start clearing out the area with all of the twilight until we jump down into the water to kill the dinosaur boss, Old Serakis, who dropped this crappy cloak. We then have to make the long swim back to land before continuing to clear to the next boss, Twilight Lord Kelris. Now, he's not particularly interesting, but after he dies, we then have to go through an arena style thing. We need to click on 4 different torches to ignite them, and a wave of mobs will come and try to attack us, and I just think that's a pretty cool touch. And lastly, of course, is Akumai. And I've got to say, I much prefer the WoW Classic version of this boss, because in retail, it's literally just a snake's head that comes out of the ground. Unfortunately, we did lose our tank, so I had to take over their duties. But in the end, we were successful in defeating the boss. And that was it. We had completed our run of Blackfathom Deeps. Honestly, one of my favorites. It's not very engaging in the fights or anything, but the the design of the overall dungeon is fantastic. After leaving Blackfathom Deeps and turning in all of the quests, we were so close to level 30, so I decided to head over to South Shore for a little bit of questing. Now the quests here are still too high of a level for me, but there was a couple that we could do, and I was hoping that that would be enough to tip me over into level 30. All we had to do was some Murloc killing. Peak World of Warcraft content. Once that was done, I quickly turned in the quest, and then time for more Murloc killing. This time I teamed up with a nice random paladin who was almost level 40. Not a clue what he was doing here, but I'm not complaining. And after a solid 15 minutes, we could turn in the quest, which got us to level 30, which means it is time to unlock travel form. It's always a great feeling when you're running to your class trainer knowing that you're about to unlock something new and something great. Oh my god. Cat 2. Hope you all enjoyed today's video because I enjoyed making it. I always do. Gotta say, I am absolutely loving Druid. Not entirely sure what it is, but I think it's just how fast paced it is. Plus the animations are all crisp and smooth. As for content, I'm working on another video which probably won't be out for another couple of weeks yet, but I'm looking forward to releasing it. But for now, I think we're going to just continue with the Druid, and I'll probably start doing endgame content on it once we are max level. But we will have to see. Anyway, I think I have yapped enough. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all later.